building in the air. I can feel it, I can feel it. It's pressing down on me and I can barely breathe. Oh, can you feel it? And I'm surrounded everywhere. I can feel it, I can feel it. It's creeping up on me, but what I just can't see. Or say you feel it. I'm falling into this unknown. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? There's nothing I can do but to give in to the plan. And the bass kicks in, and the bass kicks in, and the bass kicks in, and the bass kicks in. I can take it, and I lose control. I can shake it, can't fight it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday the 13th, May 13th, 2016. That doesn't read too well, but that's okay. Let's get started. Okay, so Visual Studio 2015. Let's turn it on. It's actually not a bad song. So this is incorrect, but this has to be done by the game mode. Right. Either way, let's start up. That being said, when the game stays set and they're ready to spawn, that's when we can trigger the game mode to spawn. So I'll do an if roll authority, send it to the game mode. Which we should have. Whoops. Alright, we're set to go into the menu now. I forgot I changed that default. Excuse me. So we'll have, let's have a player spawn first. We go in. When this gets kicked in, we have access to whatever radius we would have. Actually modified the night model since then, removed some of the hard edges, and it looks a little bit better, and also cleaned up a bit on the around the eye. Should probably bring that in. Not for check it again. Everything I do in check it's done on stream, either before or after, but I was using the horse model for something else, which actually ended up dropping anyway. So anyway, if roll equals roll authority, that means we are the server, and why are you complaining? Let's try a build. So succeeded. Let's actually close down this. Should say target update. Having the game running shouldn't matter, but you know. Okay. So if roll authority, we can then I guess I just need to wake up. Trigger into the game mode and say, hey, it's time, right? Now I need to figure out what game mode is. Your gameplay hacks? Okay. A game mode. Temp game mode equals, or equals cast a base chess game mode, or your you gameplay statics get game mode. And now I need to add that. Which again, I don't know why I prefix it with chess. It was like, oh, in case I needed to have a second game mode for some reason that's not based on chess, but I mean, let's be honest now. At that point, you'd be making a new game. Oh, whoops. A base chess game mode. There we are. Oh, I need a world. Okay, so if game mode. We now know that we have the game mode. So we will then want to add a function on base chess game mode that will acquire all of the player states that if go to. I'm not gonna do a go to statement. I mean, some people argue that go to still has merits. I'm not gonna get into that argument. I know it's handy for people to kind of deal with try catch things, but some people call that a hack. Yeah, right. Anyway. So what are we gonna call it? We're gonna call it virtual void start game. Oh, wrong one. That's why. Here we are. Then we will add a version of that. I could do a parameter to have it flip back, but to make it easier so I don't have to do a search for it. Or for him to make it easier, make it, well, a bit easier, but more high performance, so you don't have to search to go back. Unless there's a, first let's look at Epic Game Launcher. Oh, there's a UT update. Oh, it's the same one from yesterday, I didn't apply it. A game mode. Jmie game mode. Whew. Oh, it has a game state reference anyway. That doesn't matter. I'm assuming game state doesn't have get default game mode. Yeah, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm not sure if that has any weird caveats, like if you subclass and you change it, will it, you know? Okie dokie. So, we now need to, convert all spectators that are in game to game players. Is this thing really well to do? I was thinking we can respawn, but I mean, the thing is, when we send people into the game, they're gonna have the basic pawn that they would have in the game anyway. It's not like a shooter where a spectator pawn and a game pawn are different, right? Spectator pawn you can free float around, and a game pawn is like, you know, character with gun or whatever. This one's just kind of floating around. I could just unlock those abilities and have it be exactly the same, right? Associate it with the specific spawn they're at and change the interface around, but not actually despawn and respawn. That seems pretty heavy for something that I would just end up redoing. Anyway. I guess in that case I'll just change spawn to start. See what that screws up. E round status. Whoops. That's fine, that's fine, fine. There we are. Okay. Should be good. So that should be good. Come on. Okay, so, oh, and I gotta change, that, and then that, and then whatever this is called by. I think I said it already. So we'll see what it calls, if it links. Oh, it succeeded. I guess never called it yet. Oh, I was waiting for it to tick, right? Let's see if that's correct. So, event ready to start. That's the only time it's called. Search current project. Oh, well, yeah, okay, it's not gonna. Of course, it's gonna be ready to start because you know. No, no. Come on, leg. Okay. I'm gonna assume that it's not just lagging and it doesn't find anything more. It's weird because I have to do an extra button push each time. So it's like, you know, I click a button, you think maybe it's trying to jump there and just can't make it there yet because it's too slow. Whatever. We'll find out soon enough. So game mode, what do we call that? start game. Hey. So everyone spawned where they're supposed to be. Because I think I set that in request player start. Or choose player start, I mean. Yeah, I set all that already, so everyone's going to spawn where they're supposed to be. All spectators will go null, which means they'll go in the center. I can actually change that to whatever reference is in the okay, so when you choose a player start, it'll return a player start reference, and the one you select will be where it goes. When you have null, you basically tell the map spawn somewhere near the center, right? What I could do is I could have an extra player spawn that will be designated for spectators, so I can place it in a level and say all spectators, or even have it multiple for each team. All spectators on team whatever go here. Well, actually, there'd be spectator, but no team. But I can have a spawn where all spectators go, and some logic behind it. So I can do that instead of returning null, just having it spawn at no player spawn. Extra work to do every time I set up a level. However, it's more control over how the level's set up. I don't really know about that. And in practice, spawning in a center is probably not too bad anyway, because you're just telling, I mean, you're equidistant to every part of the, because the tile spawn starting in center and out in all directions, up to maximum distance each direction, whatever I set the maximum is. It's currently set to a number of tiles, but you know, that's not important. That would be equidistant from wherever someone wants to go, so might be good, or maybe it'll be better to have a spectator where you have a map like, hey, spectators, go here if you want to see this team. You guys want to see this team, right? Anyway. 1 second. Can you tell it's May yet when the allergies kick in? Yeah, so start game. Maybe all I need to do is just just trigger us to move 0. So let's see, game state. Oh, not game state. I want to do check it types. So F team selected member is as such, and when we go into game mode and we do end turn, we do next team is whatever, and then skip player. And so forth, kind of do that little rotation. And it's just so we can make sure that people don't cheat. Because again, it's not a good idea to have things bound to, user controllable things bound to the actual functions that do work. It's better to have user controllable things bound to functions that queue, and have the server be the only one that's actually controlling the behind the scenes functions. So this is a request here that the well, at the time it'd be from the player state would ask the game mode by going through the server. I could move this to either player state or game state, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's just how it'd be easy to find where everything is. So what I'm thinking is a good idea is that in game instance, where was it again? Set up teams, yeah. It's loading all this stuff. Oh, it's not game instance, I mean game state. When it's setting up all of the teams, yeah, here. I could do teams dot current team is -1. Oh no, it's not that. It's on the game state itself, I think. Turn team. There we are. Which starts at 0, so the 0th team would have there. So the turn team equals -1. So this locks it out, so no player can have control because there is no team -1. I'd have to worry about this being used before the game started. So let's look in turn team. I can have it there instead of there. I don't have it there. Okay. And turn's fine. Let's do -1. Let's have it outside of. Let's have it outside of here, and let's see what fails, if anything. Where was this? Set up teams. Oh, there we are. Set up players and teams invitation. And then we have game mode be the one that on StartGame if base game state base game states turn team equals 0. So then this would start the game. I'll probably have a UE log too, so UE log class, log text, Game has been started. There we are. That's good. Let's see if this builds. And let's see if this crashes. What am I doing? And that should be output log. Oh, it doesn't actually show. And she crashes. Okay. Well, that's a sign that we need to fix something, which is good. Well, it's bad that we have to fix something, but it's good that we can see that something needs to be fixed. Versus shipping a broken piece of crap, right? It'd be really nice when I get to actually so I can rotate. Oh, I can move. There we are, okay. Oh, it's actually clicking, okay. So, array next out of bounds, that's the one we want to do. So the call stack, get current team. Okay, so what called this? Get current player ID. What called this is turn player, and player tick is what called this by actually having this run. Well, the way to handle this is to check, see if the game states is set in a playable setting, right? But then we also have to find out why it's not being called. Oh, because I didn't actually implement it yet, because I didn't, yeah. Yeah. So, oh, that's terrible. Mer PPC says, sorry for seeing silent today. Dismantling a machine that blew 2 capacitors in his face, killed 4 drives, and otherwise just refused to work. And Ubuntu has given him problems too. Sounds like a fun weekend. It's actually funny, I have a UPS battery backup down here. And it was giving me trouble 2 weeks ago. And so it's giving me trouble 2 weeks ago, making a little beep sound. It's 8 years old, so the battery is probably dead on it. But they say if you do a reset and it's good, should be fine for a little while. So I did a reset. It was good for 2 weeks. Well, it was good. So I was like, okay, let's try it, see how it works. 2 weeks later, started doing it again. I'm like, okay, let's buy a surge protector. So I'm going to install a home theater surge protector down there just to, for a time being. I don't really want to buy another UPS battery supply at the moment. So, you know. Yeah, batteries are easy to get. Actually cost, well, it only costs I think about $60 to get a battery for it, but it's an older It's an older model for the UPS. I'm not sure if they still carry it. Again, it's 10 years old, and they replaced it. You can't even see them all on their website now. It's all the new one with the same name. APC 1500 VA. That's close to what I have. It's a UAC. It's our APC 1300 VA, I believe. I think it's 1300. Yeah, it's a 1300, but it's the old one. I can find them in aftermarket sites, but at the same token too, I really don't need all that much battery backup. It was mostly, well, I used to live in a house that had really bad brownouts, so we bought a battery just in case. Oh, what I need to do as well. So let's do a bunch of things right now. Why not? Oh, you live in South California? Nice. No, but brownouts, yeah. I heard it's a bit of a bad issue over there. Rolling power and so forth. Ours wasn't, it was in Halifax. It wasn't much about, you know, how much power is being used. It was just a very unreliable coal power plant that was causing problems all over the place. Like, when I say problems, I mean, it also is old wiring from an old military house, whatever, but when I say problems, I mean really bad problems, like the clock would just randomly reset, or the computer would turn itself on, which apparently is possible when you have a brownout. I didn't realize that. So there was a lot of weird problems going on with that system, but yeah. Unlike South California, it's not just because it's under so much pressure. It just wasn't well made. Yeah. Game state. What was that again? Come on. Oh, there we are. I was gonna add that. If roll is roll authority. Okay, well, it's still that, so it's still running on server because that's this block here. We'll do multicast event ready to start. So that should fix the issue. Now for the player controller, I still need to check to see if the player is a spectator. So in the player controller, I'll have a or player state, I mean. U property, blueprint, read, write, replicated, category equals player states, bool B is spectator. And then the base player state will have that set to false. Typically. B is spectator. It's false. We will add that on. You think we'd have it backwards where we'd start default spectator and go in, but in this case, we're actually going to do it the other way around. It doesn't matter either way, but we're going to do it in here. Player state B is spectator. Oh, actually I can't do that. I'd have to add a client-side function. So U function, client, reliable, void, client, set spectator. Part of me doesn't want to do this because when I have it done this way, I'm implicitly saying you can be dropped down to a spectator, but you cannot be promoted from a spectator to a game player. And there might be some reason why I'd want to do that, but I mean, it's not the way most strategy games work. And it's nice to have a very general sense where you can let people do everything, but I mean, when you start optimizing for every possible use case, then you're gonna be just running around with your head cut off, not doing anything, right? So you have to kind of cut a line somewhere. So for now, we'll have it like this. So void client set spectator. So in base game player state. So kind of like West Note, which allows spectator to join a game. I'm not sure about that game. I don't know what that is, unfortunately. Now, I mean, one thing that might be fun, even though it's not done this way. So what I'd be able to do is if I make a replay system, kind of like StarCraft or whatever, which would be easy for turn-based strategy because you just record all the turns and play them back. It's not, you know, you don't have to worry about the timings of them being like down to the millisecond or whatever and making sure the simulation is appropriate. You just, the simulation is tick, tick, tick. It's deterministic, right? It's tick, 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 and there's only a finite amount of them. So you'd be able to just kind of blow through at the beginning and have everything set up the correct way. Okay, I'll check that link. I'm going to mute the audio first, just in case, if there's any copyrighted music or anything like that playing. Okay, so the game is this. It's cool. Apparently cross-platform, Linux, Windows, and Mac. Open source. I'm not sure license yet. Originally made in 2003. Yeah, 2003. Well, copyright originally in 2003. Cool. So apparently that allows spectators to join. Anyway. Client set spectator. I think actually client doesn't require implementation. B is spectator equals true. So player state client set spectator what I was trying to say though is, and let's turn music back on. What I was trying to say though is what could be happening is if we have a replay type system. What we could do is we could have like Heart of the Swarm did, where you play from here, and that would be fine. In that case, we'd be setting up the game instance and stuff from the menu. So it wouldn't even be part of this code. This would be ahead of the code setting up the game. So we'd launch into the game level at that precise setup. So it wouldn't matter for that case, but within game it'd be hard to make a spectator take over any given one. Maybe I can do that at some point. I want to get this game physically working first, so there we are. Now we can close down, then we can try making it build. I believe now it should work. I shouldn't need to do player tick on this. Oh, I forgot I actually need to do something in player tick. Oh, actually I see that needs to be fixed too. Be a spectator cannot be defined in B player state if it's already defined in player. Oh, okay, so it's name conflict. Unless I can borrow it. A player state. B is spectator. Undocumented. Okay, so let's make it is check it spectator because I don't want. Is that right? Did I spell that right? Yeah, okay. One succeeded, one failed. Why is this? It requires implementation. Okay. I wasn't sure if the macro required it or not. But now, why I made all this variable is now I can go into the player controller. Wherever it is now. There we are. And bool B is, B spectator equals player pawn b is check its spectator. There we are. And oh, well, it shouldn't do that too, because his turn player would be oh, because his turn player is checking for that, right? So I did more than I needed to. Isn't that fun? Okay, what I really needed to do was go into his turn player and then just do in the game, stay here. I'll get current player ID. Get to current team here. So the thing I'm trying to think of is how I would fix this to make it robust to -1 term team. Because I can't just really throw null. Okay, so if turn team is greater than 0 or greater than or equal to 0, and turn team is less than the maximum number of teams, which I'm not sure if we even track. Number of teams. Return F team. But then that has a problem of can I return null? Is that gonna build? Oh, it's not even pawn. Whoops. Because I'm looking at the pawn that's state. I'm gonna leave that for now. So I can't return null. Ah, crap. So now check it types. When you create an F team, it could be if it has no members. Dot members dot num is greater than 0. Okay, so the easiest way of doing it is just making sure it's never called. Unless you're sure that you have turn team is there. If get number of teams. Or sorry, if turn team is greater than or equal to 0. Oh, whoops. Return -1. So then I can just have this handle -1 cases. Kind of forgot what I was doing, so let's just run the game and see what crashes, if anything. So the game isn't started. I can now click on things that are crashing. I can open up the game board, so I can do that now. Okay. So now we need to have the game mode end turn. Hi, oh, hey Stonekiller, what's up? So in base game states, so I'd want a function on the on something to get the player state. Can you get the player controller from the player states? I'm trying to figure out player character, player controller, and player state for use in an MMORPG. This person's gonna spend the next like 10 years of their life doing that, unless it's like literally like cube MMORPG, like cube and cone players. Getting player control object from game mode. Yeah. To all clients from the server has lots of player states. Player repair. Get player control iterator. Funny, sometimes you know that this is not the like the questions being asked is not a very sensible question. But you kind of need to ask it to see what people tell them to actually get to the right answer that you're looking for the question. Because in this case, you know, how do you access the player controller from the server? Well, it's, you know, game mode's in the server, player controller. I think it exists on the server, but also but it needs to be transmitted client side anyway, because that's what you need to do. So people are going to ask, how do you make client side effect happen on the server? And they're like, well, you can't do that. But how do you link to it, right? That's the interesting part. And I mean, there's ways you can do it by like iterating through all actors and stuff like that, but. Okay, well, whatever. It's not game mode, game state. Actually, game mode might be useful to get there. So start game. I need to access something on game state such that it would multicast out for everyone on each turn to So yeah, I need to somehow have this call onto every player control and have them update. One function that will be in both, which will be a RPC of some sort, a multicast, but I mean, there's a couple ways of doing it. Like if I wanted a hacky method, I could just have the player controller constantly loop in a player tick and see if the turn changed, and if so, the state of turn, whatever it is, and if so, then call it locally. But that's storing state in the player controller, which could be out of date or whatever. It'd be nice to have an RPC from the server say, okay, everyone change date now. Okay, well, let's add a new function here. Oops, sorry. Multicast, set up new turn. Start new turn. Okay, so then I will add a declaration here, which will go into the game state over there once IntelliSense stops dicking around. Then again, who am I to complain about dicking around, right? I already have the function set up on the player controller. I just need to have the server be able to reach into the player control in the client and like turn it on. Poke it, right? Come on, IntelliSense. Wake up. So how's everyone's weekend starting? Got a bunch of people in the chat today, so it's good. While we're waiting, I can actually show people the idea behind the game we're working on. So back last year, we were working on a game. It's like chess. As a matter of fact, the first level is almost literally chess. Much blood has been spilled. Okay. Sounds like a party. Except that there is no 4 directions, so you can actually move the pawn in any direction. And the reason why is because not every level is going to be a perfect rectangle or square or whatever. We can have levels that are like this, where there's corridors. So if I had a pawn, like I'll say that pawn here, go and stop there and never move again, that's bad. So I let it move around. And we have pieces to be able to interact based on distance from king. So you see from here, I can't actually select the knight, but if I go one more space over, I can select this knight, but not this one. And once we get the pieces we want, we can then go up into the level and, you know, set up our positions while the AI is trying to move into the level 2. This one's locked to 1 versus AI. The main reason for the relaunch is to have it be player versus player allowed to, which is why I'm doing all the network code. It looks like it started now, so I can close that. No, it's not. You know what? Forget it. Process request move is now a move. I want it to be start new move. Start tune, sorry. Odd how these are reversed. Okay, we'll have it there. And it'll be start new turn. Implementation, but no parameter. So this will be run on the client. Now what was that function again? Get player controller. Sure. If get world, get player controller iterator. How do we use that? Get player controller iterator. Nah. We'll do get player controller. A player controller. Equals cast a base player controller. There we are, and this should work, hopefully. I know a get player controller exists at some point. It's used in oh, so it's used gameplay statics. Okay, I need to get world inside it. Okay. So gameplay statics. Get player controller. Get world. 0. That's what I need to do instead. Okay. So then we can have on the base player controller, whatever the heck that is, update in range tiles. Okay. Oh, whoops. Player controller. If player controller. So if the cast is fine, player controller updates. This is gonna also call on the spectators as well. So update in range tiles. So we need to make sure it's a small function. So I need to make sure it's optimized later on. Yeah, so it'll loop through all level tiles each turn, even for spectators. I guess that's okay. Regardless, let's see if this builds. So if this works fine, that means that when we load the game, we should see... oh, it doesn't build. Okay. Oh. Now let's see if it builds. right? Was it the capital P that got me? It was a capital P that got me. Okay. Let's run with debugging, see if it works. Or crashes. Either way. We'll see. So the game has been started, but it hasn't set the update tiles and range correctly. So it's not broadcasting. Okay, why aren't you broadcasting? Let's see if this is being called at all. I guess I wouldn't need to rebuild for that, I just need to start a breakpoint. Oh well. Oh, did I not actually call it? Was that the problem? Oh, okay. Multicast, start new turn. Oops, no, I don't want to select all. Multicast, start new turn. And then skip player. Multicast. Start new turn. Oh, actually, here we are. Multicast or get base game states. Multicast. Start new turn. Is that right? Else get base game state. Multicast. Start new turn. I was gonna have it there and then if this case do it again, but then that's just gonna be looping through all the tiles twice for each end turn when you don't need to. For each end turn that's caused by everyone skipping your turn. That is. Whereas here I can just make an else statement. Okay, now let's try building again, and this, if we do it right, should start the game correctly. And then we will have it be on the end turn system. If turn is AI, have it skip. So we don't have to actually write an AI system. Oh, whoops. Okay, no, it hasn't yet. Okay. Clearly it works, so why isn't it working like that? Once again, I should have just run with debugging. And just add a breakpoint. I don't need to restart the game. Okay, so player controller is base player controller that. If player controller Update tiles in range. Continue. So why aren't you doing it? Okay, well, let's do client then. This one actually had stopped before, so. Oh, did I forget to do that? Oh, client. I mean, I forgot to do it again. Yeah, I did. Hopefully this will be fixed now. Client replication. UV4. Okay, that won't work. But let's try it anyway. Nope. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it's quiet in chat. Okay, so let's change it back to multicast. I do get a player controller, so why isn't it being called? And then game mode here. There, let's do a build. And game states, let's have us here. Again, I know it's being called, but why is it not working as such? Okay, so player controller, good. So base player controller 0. Maybe I need to go, like, literally go through all player controllers and force them all to work. Because that seems to be going. And yet, in game, it doesn't work. So it's looks like it's grabbing the wrong player controller, because it's grabbing a player controller. Alright, well, let's do the... Get player controller iterator. UWorld, or get world, get player controller iterator. So what does this correspond to? Come on, telesense, do your job. Let's do peak definition. Let's see if it forces it there. This is way too slow to be useful. It's almost 11:02, so we'll be shutting it down very soon. Come on, what are you going to return? Okay, so I do it like this. Fconst player controller iterator. Okay. Okay, so for... What was this whole load of crap again? Okay. Let's leave it over on this monitor here. For Fconst player controller iterator. Iterator equals get player controller iterator. Iterator plus iterator. A base player controller player controller equals iterator get, and then that should work. Oh, a bass player controller. That probably not gonna end my worries, but that was a bug. Oh. That was silly. This is not what people do, but I think it might be right. We shall see. Come on. Nope. Okay, well, there we are. Okay, well, let's try actually stepping into it. That function shouldn't have been called in, but we'll roll with it. There. Now let's go inside this function, see what happens. Oh, okay, so it's not current player state. Okay, so what? So this is a player controller. So why is this the case? Is it just running too soon? It might be running too soon. It might not be waiting for begin play. I don't want to do this though. Especially if that's not the problem. Let's close it down. So all this is happening in the game state and after the add player team. Or is it actually happening after add player team? So start game. Let's do one quick thing before we stop for today. Let's do on game mode. Is it game mode? Virtual void begin play override, and let's see. I think begin plays on. Well, yeah, it'd have to be because it's all on actors, and game mode's an actor. And you slow IntelliSense piece of garbage. Okay, I'll do it by hand. Choose player start. Let's move it up there. Begin play. Being play. Benign play. Begin play. There we are. Super. Yeah. Game mode, begin, play. And we can just kind of do all that. Save that there. Hopefully this will build. What? Oh. Some things that just one semicolon can do, right? Because there's a macro underneath, so that could just go blow everything up. So if begin mode play happens after the game is started, then there's a problem in the log. That means that we're trying to do stuff before it's ready, in which case we can just switch it around. Yeah, so the game is started before begin play happens. So what we need to do is we need to so what calls start game? Okay. We'll just stop that right now. Instead, we'll go in game mode and have it be start game here. Close, rebuild, hope it works. Fix me, make this correct. It's 11, what can I say? Run with debugging. That's my way of saying grammar. Now, if this works, and that's fine. So the problem seems to have been that it just wasn't ready. In which case, if this works, then I'm going to have to make it more robust by, adding a loop. There we are. So we just didn't wait long enough. That was a problem. It wasn't, the match wasn't ready to start. Okie dokie. So, yeah. We got a bunch of things to do, but that little chunk of code works. It does what we want to. What we need to do now, going forward, outside this little bug, is have AI skip their turn so we can keep making turns. We need to then implement moves. Then we need to implement AI, do some test levels, and so forth. Going back, and also make, the art style, have it not be Epic's front yard anymore. Probably primitive shapes and kind of soft shaded things. Okay. All that is going forward. Immediately, what we have to do to fix this issue is we need to have some way of having start game be called after begin play is run. Either by so the thing is, we need to have them both done, right? So I want to make sure the game state's set up before I call begin play, because if we have a late client, we need to make sure it's robust such that calling begin play won't be called before the game state's ready. But I can't call it on the game state before the game mode's before actual begin play is ready. So I need to have some way of treating that. So probably what I'm going to end up doing is on game state, call begin play. Call game start. If the game what's it called again? The whatchamacallit? There's a an enumerator in within Unreal Engine which says the game state. So if begin play has happened, then we will call it directly. If it hasn't happened, we'll then tell the game mode on begin play call it, right? So either way, we just need to make sure that both of them are done before start game is called. Unreal Engine 4 is ready, and our game state is ready. And once they're both ready, call start game and you're good. That'll be next time, and then we'll continue on with what I said earlier, maybe fixing some other bugs as they come up, because there's going to be bugs, because I'm not a good programmer. Thanks for watching.